Welcome to English with Ivy. This afternoon, our discussion for English Grade 8 Module 1 is about vocabulary. This time, you are going to act as a word detective. And to be a detective, you have to be you should possess observation skills, okay? All of your senses are open to detect clues in order to solve. You are going to unravel the mystery of an unknown word or term using nothing but your own wits. You're going to discover the meaning of words without the use of dictionary. And the mysterious letter is from your friend, whose name is Joey. And he was actually moved to a foreign country which speaks an unknown language. It's been 5 years since you last heard from him. One day, an envelope containing what turns out to be a diary arrived in the mail. You opened a page and it read something like this. Dear Diary, I woke up late this morning. I was running out of time, so I had to eat my bowl of crunks. I have to eat a bowl of crunks in a hurry. I'm almost missed the chum going to school. When I got to school, I realized that I left my assignments at home. It was supposed to be submitted today, and I'm afraid of Cheer Lisa wouldn't give an extension. I asked, and thankfully she gave me one. After classes, my friends and I played Chateau. I'm really not that good in this game, but luckily, I have teammates who know how to dribble and shoot the ball really well. We were actually the yehey of the game. By the way, Papa said, we're going to the Sliverick this weekend. I'm excited. I always love to swim and play in the sand. I hate the sunburn though. Well, that's it for today. Good night, Joey. So that was the letter of Joey. Now, the next thing that you are going to do is to study each sentences given to you. By the way, you will be divided into 7 groups. Each group will have to identify the word that you can find from Joey's diary in the space given below. Look for the clues given within the text to figure out the meaning behind these foreign words. If possible, provide the logic behind your reasoning. So for group 1, the sentence is, I was running out of time, so I had to eat my bowl of crunks in a hurry. For group 2, the sentence is, I almost missed the chum going to school. And the third sentence for group 3 is, I realized that I left my assignments at home. And group 4, the sentence is, it was supposed to be submitted today, and I'm afraid Cheer Lisa wouldn't give an extension. Group 5, the sentence is, after classes, my friends and I played Chateau. And for group 6, we were actually the yehey of the game. And for 7, by the way, Papa said we're going to the Sliverick this weekend. Okay, so I'll give you time to answer within 3 minutes. Okay, while you are analyzing the sentence given to you, let me read again the letter. I woke up late this morning. I was running out of time, so I had to eat my bowl of crunch crunch in a hurry. I almost missed the chum chum going to school. When I got to school, I realized that I left my assignments at home. It was supposed to be submitted today, and I'm afraid Cheer Lisa wouldn't give an extension. I asked. Thankfully, she gave me one. After classes, my friends and I played Shatung. I'm really not that good in this game, but luckily, I have teammates who know how to dribble and shoot the ball really well. We were actually the yehey of the game. By the way, Papa said, we're going to the Sliverick this weekend. I'm excited. I always love to swim and play in the sand. I hate the sunburn though. Okay, so are you done? Now, let us discuss each group answers, okay? For group 1, since the sentence is that I was running out of time, so I had to eat my bowl of crunch in a hurry. The person speaking in the sentence, in that sentence is Joey. He has to reach the school as soon as possible, but before that, he has to eat a bowl of something. And as we know, that bowl is a container, especially food. Therefore, the unknown word is crunch, and the meaning of crunch is a bowl of food. And the reason is that the situation that we need to eat something before we go somewhere else, especially when we go for work or we go to school in the morning. So we have to take our breakfast. Okay? So bravo, group 1. Next is group 2. Again, for group 2, the sentence is, I almost missed the chum chum going to school. Missing something in order to reach the school. So definitely we need something as that could be a ride, riding a bus, riding a vehicle in order to reach the school. So the unknown word there is chum chum, and the meaning is the vehicle, missing the ride of a vehicle or a bus. And the reason is that we need to ride something in order to reach the school. Okay, congratulations, group 2. And next, group 3. I realized that I left my assignments at home. Assignments. It is something that has to be done at home. And unfortunately, Joey left it. So, the unknown word again is assignments, and the meaning is homework or assignment. And as we observed from the unknown word assignments, it could be extracted from the word assignments, structurally speaking. Okay, next, the reason is that because the assignment or homework has to be done at home. And that is the clue why we came up to the conclusion that a segment is the assignment or homework. Next, yay, group 3. Next is group 4. For group 4, it was supposed to be submitted today, and I'm afraid that Cheer Lisa wouldn't give an extension. And because of the case that Joey left his homework at home, so he felt afraid that Cheer Lisa wouldn't give an extension. Who is that something or someone that wouldn't give an extension? And I guess that is not something, but it is someone who would give an extension. So definitely, again, the unknown word is cheer, cheer, Lisa. The meaning could be somebody who is in authority to give an extension or consideration regarding the case of Joey. So therefore, the meaning is teacher Lisa. And the reason is because of the word cheer, cheer, which is the suffix of extracted from the word teacher, structurally speaking. And another reason is that cheer, cheer, Lisa is somebody who is in authority to give Joey the consideration and extension about his assignment. Yay! Bravo, group 4. Now let us have group 5. And the sentence is, after classes, my friends and I played shatum. Okay, shatum is something that has to be played by Joey and his friends. So, what is that shatum? Actually, the sentence is not enough, so we have to go back to the letter. And it says there on the letter that I'm really not that good in this game, but luckily I have teammates who know how to dribble and shoot the ball really well. So, meaning, shatum is a game that when you are going to play in that game, you have to master the skill of dribbling and shooting. And you need an apparatus in that game, apparatus which is the ball. So, it is basketball because I think that is the only ball game that needs to be dribbled and shooted. So, again, the unknown word is shatum because that is the only game, the word which is unfamiliar to us in that sentence. A known word is shatum and the meaning is basketball because that is the only game that uses a ball for dribbling and shooting. And the reason is the situation from the given from the succeeding sentences that he is playing with his teammates who are also very good in shooting and dribbling. Next, yay, congrats, group 5. And for group 6, we were actually the yay of the game. Yay is the unknown word in the sentence, from the sentence. Now, you usually use the word yay if you're happy, if you succeed in a particular task, or if you are craving for something that has been achieved, or if you are successful. You use the word yay, and that is the indication that you're happy. And as we know earlier that Joey and his friends were playing basketball, it means they win the basketball because he said, we were actually the yay of the game. Therefore, again, a known word is yay and the meaning is the winner or victorious in the game. And the reason is that familiarity of the word yay when we use it for during times of happiness and success. And the last sentence is from group 7. By the way, Papa said we're going to the slivering this weekend. Actually, this sentence is not enough, so we have to revisit the letter. By the way, Papa said we're going to the slivering this weekend. I'm excited. I always love to swim and play in the sand. I hate the sunburn though. So, according to Joey, that he loves to swim, he loves to play in the sand. And slivering, meaning it is somewhere where Joey can play in the sand and swim. So definitely it is a beach, because in the beach we can see the sand there and a water, seawater for us to swim. So again, the unknown word is liveric, and the meaning is the beach, and the reason is that in slivering, as mentioned by Joey, is a place where he can swim and play in the sand. So that is the reason. So congratulations all groups, and you are all fantastic word detectives. Actually, what you're doing is looking for clues in order to solve the case, in the sense that you would be able to unleash the meaning of unfamiliar words. That is the process of noting the context clues. So for this afternoon, towards the end of this module, you should be able to first note types of context clues such as or statement or synonyms, contrast or antonym, definitions, examples, etc. used for given word or expression. And the second objective is you're going to determine the meaning of words and expression that reflect local culture by noting context clues. First and foremost, what is context clue? Context clue is a word or a group of words that appear in sentences to help understand the meaning of difficult words. You are going to unleash the meaning of words without the use of dictionary. You just have to observe. Look for clues just within the context, within the written texts. Learning the meaning of a word through its use in a sentence or paragraph is the most practical way to build vocabulary. Since a dictionary is not available, or sometimes we have a dictionary but we felt laziness for looking the meaning of the word every time we encounter an unknown word. Also, context is like a setting of a word, where con is the prefix which means with, and text which means written words. Definitely, context is looking for words within the written text or written phrases which serve as clue for us to know the meaning of the unfamiliar word. As a reader, you have to look for clues within the written words to help understand unfamiliar words or phrases. The first type of context clue is restatement or synonym clues. Just like the word synonym, meaning two words having different spelling, but they do have the same meaning. So when a difficult word is said in such simple way, within the sentence, there is one unfamiliar word and the other one is a clue. Now that kind of clue is actually the restated word of that unfamiliar word. Again, this kind of context clue is you are giving the restated word or the synonym of that unfamiliar word. So the synonym of that word will serve as the clue for us to know the meaning of that unfamiliar word. And the signal words we used in this kind of context clue are or, that is, which is, in other words, another way of saying it, and others. Those are the signal words would help us to understand that the clue given is a synonym for the unknown word. And the punctuation marks used are hyphens and commas. For example, it is common for Filipinos to feel compassion or pity for the suffering of their fellow men. It is the nature of Filipinos to feel compassionate or have pity towards our fellow men. Now, in this case, we don't, assuming that we don't know what is compassion about. To know the meaning of that word, we have to look for other clues. And take note, the signal word used there is or, which means compassion is another restated word or the synonym of the word pity. So, the clue used is synonym. That compassion is also called, or the other term of the word pity. Another example is this case about cooking. Adding 2 cups of raisins or dried grapes is one of the important ingredients for baking the chocolate cookies with raisins. Again, the recipe is about chocolate cookies with raisins on top. Now, what is raisin? What is that? Of course, it is a food also. It is one of the main ingredients for baking the chocolate cookies. And what is really that particular ingredient? Okay, so within the sentence, adding 2 cups of raisins or dried grapes. The signal word used is or again. Now, it means that raisins is also a dried grape. Raisin is the restated word for dried grapes or the synonym. Okay? Next, let us move on to another context clue type, and that is contrast or antonym clues. If the restatement or the synonym clue is about giving a clue through giving the synonymous word to the unfamiliar word. Now, for contrast is also giving the opposite word of the unknown word, which will still serve as the clue to the a known word. A difficult word is defined by contrasting it into familiar term with the opposite meaning. And the signal words used are although, but, however, in contrast to, as opposed to, and on the other hand. And in this kind of clue, within the sentence, we use the punctuation mark, comma. The example given is, when the light brightens, pupils of the eye contract. However, when it grows darker, they dilate. The pupils there is the unknown word, and for sure, it doesn't mean to somebody who is a student in the elementary. No. What we're talking here is a particular vital part of our body. Pupil is located in our eyes. And in our eyes, it is found at the center of the iris, and it is where the light enters. Within our eye, it passes through the pupil, and through that case, we can see the things around us because of the light that passes through the pupil. So, since the unknown word there is dilate is the first unknown word. We know already the pupil. Now, the word there is dilate. Dilate is actually the opposite of contract. That when the light brightens, the pupils of our eye will contract. However, okay, we are not stating the opposite. When it grows darker, they dilate. Okay, and the next sentence is, we thought of the athletes would be famished after their game, but they were not hungry at all. So it is the nature of us, of human beings, especially the athletes, that they would feel famished or starving right after the game or after any sports related exercises. So it's normal that they feel this, that they would experience this case. However, on the last part of the sentence, but they were not hungry at all. Not hungry at all. So meaning, famished is the opposite of the phrase not hungry. We are stating the opposite for famished, and which is not hungry. Meaning, famished is the case of being hungry. And we knew that through stating it in the opposite manner, which is not hungry. The third type is definition or description or explanation clues. Definition meaning we are defining something. Description is the process of giving descriptive words or phrases about something, and explanation is explaining the process or details about something. So this is also used for context clue as its type. The exact meaning of word is given within the sentence through a definition, description, or explanation. And the signal words we used are which means for defining something or describing. Is definitely for describing. Defined as, definitely for defining. Meaning is also for defining. Which is also for explaining. And other signal words. The punctuation marks we use most of the time are commas for explanation, for description and definition. Parenthesis is also for definition or description, and quotation for explanation. The quotation marks and colons. So we have an example. Horology means the art of making timekeeping devices like clocks and watches. So horology means we are defining the word horology, that is the art of making timekeeping devices such as clocks, wall clock, wristwatch, alarm clock, and others. Another example is this one for science. Nucleus is the place where all cell activity takes place. And because it is a place where all cell activity takes place, meaning it is located within the center of the cell. So the sentence is indicating that we are defining what is nucleus all about. And the word nucleus is followed by the signal word is. And it is defined succeeding words that it is a place where all cell activity takes place. The fourth type is example clues. We would be able to know the meaning of unfamiliar word through the given examples, just within the sentence. When the author provides one or more examples that directly relates to the unusual words, the signal words the author used are for example, for instance, such as, including. This includes like and others. So take note of those signal words. And the punctuation marks we use are commas and colons. Example: condiments like sugar, mustard, cinnamon, and pepper are now the basic kitchen items, but they were once too expensive to buy. They are also one of the ingredients to be included in most of our kitchen recipes. We only need a few amount from each of them, but though they are small, but they contribute great, something important to every recipe, because they give flavor. And the flavor of the food is also something important that we crave whenever we eat or take that food. So condiments, we would be able to know the meaning of condiments through the given examples like sugar, mustard, cinnamon, and pepper. All of these examples are ingredients that gives flavor. So the meaning of the word condiment, again, can be determined through examples that follow after it. And all of those examples are the ingredients that give flavor. Therefore, condiments are ingredients that gives taste for food, to eat. And another example is ecclesiastical members, including priests, ministers, and pastors, are called upon by the government to set example of good behavior to the society. Ecclesiastical is something we're not familiar with, but we would be able to know it immediately through the signal word including. Including priests, ministers, pastors are called upon by the government to set example of good behavior to the society. Now, these priests and ministers and pastors, what they have in common is that they are serving in the church in order to cater the spiritual needs of the people. So, ecclesiastical members are religious leaders or religious figures that serves everyone to meet the spiritual needs with anointment. Based on the example enumerated in the sentence, ecclesiastical members refer to religious people. Expected to set good examples or good behavior to the society. Next is the mood or tone clue. It is where the author sets a mood and the meaning of the unknown word must harmonize with the word. The punctuation marks used are commas. Example, the lugubrious wails of the gypsies matched the dreary whistling of the wind in the Albert deserted cemetery. Now, what I know is that dreary is something scary. Whistling is the muted or silent noise caused by the strong wind, and deserted is a solemn, nobody around, especially in the sentence is the cemetery. It's a lonely place. It's a sorrowful place. So lugubrious, which means sorrowful, that fits into the mood set by the words such as wails, dreary, and deserted cemetery. Next is the experience clue. Sometimes a reader knows from experience how people or things act in a given situation. The knowledge provides the clue to a word's meaning. This kind of clue is something that has to be understood, meaning you as the reader of the given text, you have to put yourself into the shoe of the persona or the person speaking in that sentence. And in order to understand what is the sentence about, until such time that you can come up to the meaning of the unfamiliar word from the sentence. And we have here an example. During those first bewildering weeks, the thoughts of a college freshman drift back to high school, where he was in, knew everyone, and felt at home. A feeling of nostalgia sweeps over him. The unfamiliar word here is nostalgia. But as you can see, if you are in this situation, if you're the persona speaking in this text, you were a college freshman, and there is something that brought you back to the high school days. So you were drifted back to high school where you were in and knew everyone and felt at home. There is a feeling of nostalgia that sweeps over you. So nostalgia is something that gives you a feeling of remembering something from the past. It might be the case that you've longing to experience that past again, or something from the past you want to experience that again in the present, or just remember the things that had happened from the past. So based from the person's experience, nostalgia means a feeling of longing for the past. Another example is, she walked away from her closet and quickly slipped a jersey over her head. Over her head, she smoothed it into place over her hips, added a belt, glanced at the mirror, and left for work. Okay, we don't know what is jersey about, but according to her, she wore it. She walked away from her closet. Actually, that jersey is from the closet, and quickly slipped that jersey over her head. Okay, she took the jersey until she smoothed it and placed into over her hips, and then after that she also added a belt. And after adding a belt, she glanced at the mirror and go for work. So it is something that has to be worn. That is what jersey about. Based on the person's experience, jersey is a close fitting and circular knitted garment for clothing. It is something that has to be worn from the head, smoothed and smoothed it into place over her hips. Next, the seventh type of context clue is the analysis or structure clue. The parts used to construct a word can be direct clues to meaning, knowledge of prefixes, roots, and suffixes can aid a reader in using this type of context clues. Meaning, you would be able to know the meaning of that unfamiliar word by looking at its structure, word structure. Look for the prefix, the root word, and the suffix of the given word. It is better if you have a concrete knowledge about affixes and root words. And having the knowledge of structure clue or structural analysis of words, you would have a clue about knowing the meaning of the unfamiliar word. Okay, we have here an example. The life story of Cleopatra in Egypt is incredible. Cleopatra is one of the royal queen in Egypt during the ancient times, long time ago, during the reign of Julius Caesar, and emperor in Rome. The example for this type of context clue is about Cleopatra. The life story of Cleopatra in Egypt is incredible. Cleopatra is one of the royal leader in Egypt during the ancient times. So, her life story is said to be incredible. Now, by looking at the structure of the word incredible, we would be able to know it. The word incredible has prefix, a root word, and suffix. The prefix is in, the root word is cred, and dible is the suffix. The root word is cred, and it means to believe. But the prefix is in, which means not. Therefore, it means not to believe or unbelievable, since the suffix is about able, the capability of. So, the life story of Cleopatra is unbelievable. Another example for this type of context clue is this sentence. The somnambulist had to be locked in his bedroom at night for his own safety. Now, the unfamiliar word is somnambulist. However, if a reader knows the meaning of ambular, that is actually meaning walk, to walk. And som, which means sleep, and sees the sentence, the reader may realize that somnambulist is a sleepwalker. That is why the nature of the sentence goes like this. The somnambulist had to be locked on his bedroom at night for his own safety, because the somnambulist there is a sleepwalker, and in order for that sleepwalker to be safe, he has to be locked in his bedroom during night. We are now in the 8th type of context clue, and that is called as inference clue. From the word infer, which means you're going to guess of what will happen next or what the future holds. That is guessing. Sufficient clues might be available for the careful reader to make an educated guess at the meaning. So, when you are going to make inference, you have to look of the available specific details in order for you to come up a good guessing. That is what we mean by inferencing. Here is the example. She told her friend, "I'm through with blind dates forever. What a dull evening. I was bored every minute." The conversation was absolutely vapid. So in this sentence, we have to, we don't know the meaning of the word vapid, but by just looking at the previous specific details, we would come up to a conclusion about what is vapid about. We make inference, rather. So, the first detail is that I'm through with blind dates forever. Forever. What a dull evening. And I was bored every minute. So the person speaking in that sentence, or the persona, felt bored during the time he were having a date with somebody. Therefore, the vapid now there means uninteresting, because as stated by the details that during the time she were having a date with somebody, she felt bored, and the conversation was definitely uninteresting. Another example is this sentence: when one shows belligerence, harsh words, disruptive actions, and offensive behaviors can be observed. The unfamiliar word here is belligerence. But by looking at the succeeding specific details, it's stated there, those phrases such as harsh words, disruptive actions, and offensive behaviors. Therefore, we might come up to an inference that belligerence refers to a violent action or violent words that shows offensive effect to others. The ninth type of context clue is called as cause and effect. By the way, cause also means reason. Effect also means the result. Again, cause and effect, or reason and result. Now, in this kind of context clue, the author explains the reason for or the result of the word. And the signal words we use for indicating the cause or reason are because of, since, because of the fact that, and for the effect, we use those signal words such as therefore, thus, so, etc. that may signal the clues, the effect. Now, the punctuation marks used is comma. So we have here an example. She wanted to impress all her dinner guests with the food she served. So she carefully studied the necessary culinary arts. So to know what is the meaning of culinary arts about, we have to identify the cause and effect in this kind of clue we used. In this sentence, she wanted to impress all her dinner guests with the food she served, so she carefully studied the necessary culinary arts. Take note, the signal word we use there is the word so. And so is used for indicating the effect. Therefore, the clause, so she carefully studied the necessary culinary arts, is the effect. And the reason of studying the necessary culinary arts is the case that she wanted to impress all her dinner guests with the food she served. Therefore, culinary means food preparation. We have 9 types of context clues. The first is restatement or synonym clues. The second type is the contrast or antonym clues. Restatement or synonym clues is giving the other word or another word that has the same meaning, while contrast or antonym clues is giving the opposite of that given word. And the third type is definition, description, or explanation clues. The fourth is example clue. The fifth is the mood or tone clue. Sixth, experience clue. Seventh, analysis or structure clue. Eighth is the inference clue, and the ninth is cause and effect clue. So let us try to further enhancement of your learning, as well as validate your understanding about noting context clues. Is you're gonna do the group activity. First and foremost is that go to your respective groups and make a circular arrangement of seats for feasibility in accomplishing your learning activities. Next, search for the unknown words in sentences. The third task is write the meaning of the underlined words using context clues. Write your answer on the activity sheets. And the last is you will have to explain your answers and determine the type of context clues used. Before we start, I want you to be oriented about the criteria for rating your performance. The first criteria is the presentation, and the second is class interaction. For presentation, you will get 5 points only if you were able to explain it with clarity and meaningfulness. And for class interaction, you will get the highest possible score, which is 5, only if you look at your classmates with a well-modulated voice and has a meaningful interaction towards the class. Okay, so the total highest possible points to be obtained is 10. So now that we are going to have an activity, I want you to be classified into 5 clusters. Okay, for the group task. Those who are living in the poblacion or Purok 1A and B, you would be classified as group 1. And for those who are living in Limentian, Pagkilatan, and somewhere beyond that area, that group will be the group 2. And for those who are living here in Salmonan, Paradahan, they would be the group 3. The group 4 will be for those who are living in Mabini and Concepcion. Group 5 will be Bahada, and for those who are living in Bahada, in Manga and beyond, they would be classified as group 2. Okay, sentence for group 1 is like this. The COVID-19, like Spanish influenza, is a virus that strictly requires home quarantine and physical distancing. So in this sentence, you are going to extract the unknown word, write it on your activity sheet, give the meaning of that unknown word, and write the type of context clue you used while you were able to unleash the meaning of that unfamiliar word, or what strategy are you using in order to come up to that. Okay, again, write the unknown word and investigate what is the meaning, and also write the context clues used. Next is for group 2, the sentence is this one. We should keep ourselves healthy by always washing our hands, eating nutritious food, taking vitamins, exercising regularly, and drinking plenty of water. So write the unknown word extracted from the sentence. Also, investigate what is the meaning of that unknown word, and write the type of context clues which answer to the question how you come up to this meaning of that unknown word. What is your strategy? What is the clue you used in order to, or how you come up to this conclusion? Why you have this as the meaning of the unfamiliar word. Next is for group 3. The sentence is about friendship. Friendship among teenagers is a complicated thing. Sometimes they get well along with others and are happy about it. But there are also times where they have misunderstandings and disagreements. It has a lot of words in the sentence, but you have to give one unfamiliar word, write the unknown word, and give also the meaning based on your word investigation. And after giving the meaning of that unfamiliar word, you have to write what type of context clue you used, or how, explain why you come up to that meaning of the unfamiliar word. And then next is the 4th sentence, and it's about like this. Snakes, sharks, and crocodiles are common predators of smaller animals. Write the unknown word there, give the meaning, and also explain why you use that type of context. The same also for group 5, which the sentence is like this. A treasure hunter is a person who searches for treasures from sunken ships and ancient tombs to obtain valuable relics and artifacts. Write the unknown word again, give the meaning, and explain why you came up to that meaning, or state the type of context clue you used for solving that word investigation. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes for group discussion and another 7 minutes for finalizing your answer as a group output. Okay, and for the meantime, I will show you a video, and this video is about context clue in a form of a song, and I hope that you would like it.
Oh, look. A word I don't know. Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be looking for clues in the context. When I find a new word that's written in a sentence, I look around to see if a similar one is mentioned. That's a synonym, the first clue I use. Like, the actress read through a book and perused a newspaper. And then she took a snooze. Peruse, that's new, so I search for a clue. I see she was reading. Could it be true? Peruse must be a synonym for read through. But if I can't find the answer, then maybe there's an opposite word or an antonym. Like, Langston was jubilant when he got the news before he found out he was depressed with the blues. Jubilant and depressed must be antonyms. Depressed means sad, jubilant must mean happy then. Two new words, peruse, jubilant with synonyms and antonyms, you don't have to Google it. On a top secret mission, check the method. 3 words I don't know, like a word detective. Search within the sentence. Look for synonyms, antonyms, explanations, example. On a top secret mission, check the method. 3 words I don't know, like a word detective. Search within the sentence. Look for synonyms, antonyms, explanations, example. Detectives? When reading through phrases, you might find the third clue, an explanation. Let's take a look and try to crack this case then. The mansion was dilapidated, the windows were broken, the paint was faded. I'm pretty sure a pack of rats had invaded. Those lines explain the word I didn't know. Dilapidated means falling down and old. Clue 4, I look for examples of the word that might illustrate how to define the term. Eating sweets was against Capone's wishes, just fruits and vegetables which are nutritious. I know fruits and vegetables are healthy dishes. These examples lead me to the meaning of nutritious. All these examples and explanations are clues to crack the case like Perry Mason. On a top secret mission, check the method. 3 words I don't know, like a word detective. Search within the sentence. Look for synonyms, antonyms, explanations, example. On a top secret mission, check the method. 3 words I don't know, like a word detective. Search within the sentence. Look for synonyms, antonyms, explanations, example.
Are you done with the group discussion? What is your answer about? Now, I'll give you 5 minutes for finalizing your answer. And for the meantime that I am waiting for your output to be projected on the screen, I will address this video. I will present a video, and this video should be presented to those students who were having a special cases right now, specifically those students who were living in a very remote area. And I will just share this video through USB and other material. Namely, we have Jaymar, Nicholas, Marjun, John Lloyd, Sarah May, Jasmine, Princess M, Windel. So I hope that you would like this video and you learn the message of this video anyway.
Context clues at Grammar Songs by Melissa. What are context clues? More importantly, how can understanding context clues make me a better reader? Let's get started. Context clues are hints a reader can use to discover the meanings of unfamiliar words and phrases. Did someone say discover? Yes, Detective Waddle. When we read, we have to look for clues to discover the meanings of words we don't know. Let me show you. When we read, sometimes we will come upon an unfamiliar word that we don't know and have trouble sounding out. We could choose to stop reading and find a dictionary, but this can take away from our comprehension or understanding of the story by interrupting the flow. Now, what was happening? This is why using context clues is so important. I know what clues are, but what is this thing you call context? Context is like the setting of a word. You can probably guess what is missing from this picture based on the setting or context around the missing object. Sure, a dog. Using context clues is similar. Con is a prefix meaning with. Text means written words. As a reader, you are looking for clues within the written words to help you understand unfamiliar words or phrases. How will I know where to find them? A word's context includes the words and sentences around it. This is where you can find clues to the meanings of a word that you don't know. What clues do you see? Well, we know Katie was something, so we need to read the rest of the sentence to figure this out. When her little sister kept messing up her room. So what could Katie be if her little sister is messing up her room? Mad? Frustrated? No, this word starts with an A. Angry? Aggravated. Katie was aggravated when her little sister kept messing up her room. Aggravated makes sense when you consider the context. Exactly. Authors use different types of context clues. They might use examples, synonyms, antonyms, or even definitions. For instance, the restaurant's ambiance, including its quiet music, flowers, and candlelight, made it a perfect place for Valentine's Day. If you don't know what ambiance is, the examples, quiet music, flowers, and candlelight, let you know that ambiance is the special atmosphere or mood of a particular environment. Sometimes authors use synonyms or words that mean almost the same thing. The child's ability to perform gymnastics was apparent or obvious at an early age. If you are unfamiliar with the word apparent, the synonym clue obvious makes this sentence easy to understand. Sometimes authors will use antonyms to help the reader grasp an unfamiliar word by stating the opposite. Carla was meticulous with her assignments, unlike her brother Ralph, who scribbled all over the page. If you don't know what meticulous means, the antonym phrase scribbled all over would let you know that Carla was neat and careful with her assignments, unlike her brother Ralph. Sometimes authors actually provide definitions within the text if using a less common word. Abby was repulsed by the spider crawling up her arm. She had a feeling of disgust and dislike. If you are unfamiliar with the word repulsed, the author clearly defines it as a feeling of disgust and dislike. I can find context clues in the words. Exactly. Remember, context clues can be examples, synonyms, antonyms, or definitions. Let's read a paragraph and look for the context clues a reader might find if he or she was unfamiliar with the underlined words. It was time for the band to march on the field. The crowd was ecstatic. Ecstatic? I don't know what that means. Well, this would be a good time to look for context clues. Remember, if you can't find a clue in the sentence you just read, you should keep reading. A word's context includes the words and sentences around it. Let's start again at the beginning so we can gather all the context surrounding the word ecstatic. It was time for the band to march on the field. The crowd was ecstatic. People screamed and cheered, showing their excitement. I see some clues. That's great. What do you see? People screamed and cheered and showed excitement. Very good. Screamed and cheered would be examples of people who are ecstatic. People who are ecstatic are excited. Let's keep reading. The music intensified or increased in volume. What does intensified mean? Well, let's look for some context clues. I think I see one. Increased. Very good. Increased is a synonym for intensified. Let's keep reading. Unlike her timid friends, Morgan was unafraid to perform in front of the roaring crowd. What is timid? What context clues can we find? Unlike means opposite. Morgan was unafraid. So, if Morgan's friends are the opposite of Morgan, then her friends are afraid. Yes, timid means afraid or shy. The author used an antonym as a clue to help us. Let's continue. After the show, the crowd gave a standing ovation. Ovation? There aren't many clues in this sentence, except we know there is standing going on. Maybe we should keep reading. Great idea. The fans stood and clapped to show their appreciation for such a great performance. Wow! The author uses a definition as a clue to help the readers understand what is happening. An ovation is when the whole crowd stands, claps, and cheers. That was a great context clue. Yes, it was. So remember, context clues are hints a reader can use to discover the meanings of unfamiliar words and phrases. And authors use different types of context clues, including examples, synonyms, antonyms, and even definitions. I can find clues in the words. Yes, you can. Congratulations, Detective Waddle. You are a first-place detective of context clues. Thank you for joining me at Grammar Songs by Melissa. Enjoy other related videos at grammarsongs.com.
Are you done answering the group activity? Okay, so let's find out. Let us assess what is your answer and collate it. I verify your answer. Okay, for group 1, it says there, COVID-19, like Spanish influenza, is a virus that strictly requires home quarantine and physical distancing. So the unknown word is COVID-19, and the meaning is virus or a disease or plague. And the type of context clue we use is restatement or synonym because of the signal word like. COVID-19 therefore is just like Spanish influenza. They are the same as virus that strictly requires home quarantine and physical distancing. Bravo, group 1. Next, group 2. We should keep ourselves healthy by always washing our hands, eating nutritious foods, taking vitamins, exercising regularly, and drinking plenty of water. The unknown word is healthy, and the meaning is what? Take note of the succeeding experiences or details like washing our hands, eating nutritious food, taking vitamins, exercising regularly, and drinking plenty of water. All of those daily routines would contribute to a healthy well-being. Therefore, healthy means the state of being, having a good physical condition. And the type of context clue we used is experience clue. Yay! Congratulations, group 2. And for group 3, friendship among teenagers is a complicated thing. Sometimes they get well along with others and are happy about it. But there are also times where they have misunderstandings and disagreements. The unknown word here is complicated. When you say complicated, life is complicated. Life is complicated because sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're experiencing troubles, sorrow, whatever. That would also give us a mixed emotions within us. So, the meaning of the word complicated is intricate, mixed, or combination of many emotions, situations, very complicated situations. And the type of context clue we used is the same as experience clue, because according to the details presented, there were times that we're happy about it, and there were also times where they have misunderstandings and disagreements. Therefore, friendship is also life. Sometimes we're happy to be with our friends, and sometimes we see trouble within our friendship circle. That makes our friendship life also meaningful. Congrats, group 3, and next is group 4. Snakes, sharks, and crocodiles are common predators of smaller animals. The unknown word is, it's the predators. And the meaning of that word is, okay, by the way, the clue, let us look for the clue there. Snakes, sharks, and crocodiles, they are the opposite of smaller animals. Therefore, snakes, sharks, and crocodiles are animals which are something bigger and more powerful and more dominant in the animal kingdom, unlike the smaller animals. So predator, the meaning of predator are those animals which are powerful, dominant, and able to defeat the smaller animals for food, hunt the smaller animal for food. And the type of context clues we use is example clue. Bravo, group 4. Next, the last group is group 5. And the sentence is, a treasure hunter is a person who searches for treasures from sunken ships and ancient tombs to obtain valuable relics and artifacts. Actually, the sentence is defining something, and what we defined about is the treasure hunter, which is a person who searches for treasures. So the unknown word there is treasure hunter, and the meaning is a person who searches for treasure from somewhere else. And the type of context clue we use is definition, explanation, or description clue. Yes! Very good! Congratulations! So, do you have questions? If there's none, okay, let us have a recapitulation. Let's have a recap. Context clue is the only thing, or the first option that we could do whenever the dictionary is not available with us. We tend to look for clues within the written text in order to understand and know the unfamiliar word. And there are 9 types of context clue, namely the synonym clue or the statement, the antonym clue or the opposite. The third type is definition, description, or example clue. The fifth is example clue. The sixth is mood or tone clue. The seventh clue is experience clue. The eighth is analysis or structure clue. The eighth type is inference clue, and the ninth, which is the last, is the cause and effect clue. So Now that you know already what is context clue about and the type of context clue we're gonna use in order to unleash the meaning of the unfamiliar words within the context is, now let us have an evaluation. The instruction is, you're going to identify the meaning of the underlined words by writing the letter of your answer. Number 1. The pandemic tested the resiliency of the Filipino people despite their weaknesses. The underlined word is resiliency. What is resiliency? A. Durability. B. Elasticity. C. Stability. And letter D. Strength. Number 2. Among the constellations, the ones that I usually look up at night are the Ursa Major, Aries, Leo, Scorpio, and Onion stars. The underlined word in this sentence is constellation. What is it? A. Collection. B. Group. C. Package. And letter D. Set. Option D is set. Next, number 3. Each of us is a creation of our experiences. Who we are today is the opus of our journey. The underlined word in the sentence is opus. What is it? A. Composition. B. Music. C. Piece. And letter D. Product. Number 4. Dromedary, which is another term for camels, is affected by the viral disease. In this sentence, the underlined word is dromedary. What is it? A. Referring to dormitories. B. Is it Arabian one-hump camel? Or letter C, option C I mean, the Andromeda constellation. And the last sentence is in number 5. The wine connoisseur, which means an expert, is not happy with the batch of brandy. In this sentence, the given underlined word is connoisseur. What is it? A. Specialist. B. Ignoramus. And option C. Drunkard. What is your answer? Just write the letter of your answer again. And while writing, I just would like to present to you and remind you about the assignment. First and foremost, you just have to copy and answer your assignment. Give 5 types of context clue and use them in sentences as your example. Copy and answer, which I mean draw the textual aid, just like this one, where at the center is the context clue. You don't have to define what is context clue because we know already, but rather 9, give me 5 out of 9. 5 types of context clue, and each type of context clue is give at least 1 example. 1 sentence, for example, for antonym clue, another sentence for synonym clue, another sentence for experience clue, also a sentence for tone or mood clue, and another sentence for cause and effect clue. Just give me 5 with examples each. That's it. your assignment, and when you're done, just hand in your answer sheets. So that's all for this afternoon, and I hope that you would